a number of years ago I had meningitis, and the staff were wonderful and they saved my life, to be honest with you. But my mum and my dad have been in and out to A&E a few times over the last couple of years, and my mum has MS for the last 16 years. So she's no stranger to A&E and hospitals in general, unfortunately. But what happened a couple of weeks ago, I think, was just the final straw, and the straw that broke the camel's back. We called the ambulance at 6:30 for mum, and it's not a thing we do willy-nilly. Do you know what I mean? It was essential. We live about 2 miles away from the ambulance depot. There's no traffic lights or roundabouts between us and the depot. It's a very straightforward journey. The ambulance took about an hour and a half to arrive, so again, the paramedics were fantastic.
Did they tell you why the delay? What was the delay?
I didn't ask at that stage. I just thought, you know, we'll get mum into hospital, we'll see what the story is. So we got to the hospital at 8:30, and then mum was in the back of the ambulance until 10 o'clock. So from calling the ambulance at 6:30, she got inside the back door of the hospital just after 10 o'clock.
So an hour and a half waiting outside the hospital.
Yeah.
In the ambulance.
In the ambulance.
And this is because of this situation where ambulances need to take their beds back out. There's patients lying on these beds in these wards, or not wards, like corridors.
Yeah.
And until they get a cubicle to go into, that can't be taken back out. And so an ambulance is stuck there.
Absolutely.
That could be going on calls like to your mother earlier.
I think for the first few hours, you're kind of worried about your mum, and you're worried about the situation more so than the time frame of what's happening. So it wasn't really processing at the time, the times. But as the night went on, I started asking more questions, asking the paramedics, what was the delay, what happened? The paramedic said to me, one paramedic said to me he's waiting 3 hours to release a patient. Another paramedic said he's waiting 4 hours to release a patient. And again, they were fantastic. They were talking to mum, you know, but she was a little bit dazed and confused, and they kept her on track as long as they could. But then they moved her inside the door eventually of A&E. And the issue I have really here is that she was left then inside the back door of A&E from 10 o'clock on Friday night until 11:30 on Saturday night, where I asked her if she could be moved away from the back door. Because imagine, Alan, you're inside a coffee shop or a restaurant.
And the door just
keeps
opening.
there. It's opening and closing.
No privacy,
20 minutes
nothing.
later, you're getting annoyed and you're only in a coffee shop. So a 68-year-old woman here, ambulances coming in and out, paramedics coming in and out, guards
were coming in and out. She had a fall. So was there much damage? Was she injured?
She had a bad fall. She was complaining of a lot of back pain. We were really concerned about her eye, to be honest.
And was she triaged?
It took a good few hours to get triaged, and then it just seemed to go nowhere then after that. Nothing seemed to be happening. But one thing I will say is the staff were fantastic, and anytime we asked them, you know, what's going on or whatever, they would spend a minute talking to you, you know, and they would explain to you. And any staff I spoke to said, we haven't seen it this bad in a long time. And that's the one line nurses were saying to me, paramedics were saying to me, you know, anyone was saying to me, we haven't seen it this bad in a long time.
And the problem is then your mother now, because of the experience she has, so she got a bed when? Was it Sunday evening?
It was Sunday morning,
Sunday morning.
Sunday
so
morning.
She was there Friday night, she didn't get a bed till Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And the problem that you have, because of her experience there, if anything happens to her, she doesn't want to go back into hospital now. She said that, I just can't do that again.
As I said to you, we're no stranger to A&E, we're no stranger to ambulances, unfortunately, and it was a fight to get her in there in the first place. But to be honest with you now, over the last couple of days, she's absolutely shook, more so from the experience than what actually happened to her.
Well, CELTA gave us a response. We asked for a response, and they said we cannot comment on individual cases. Mayo University Hospital, like hospitals around the country, are extremely challenged by sustained increase in demand and lack of available beds. We regret that any patient has experienced long wait times. Mayo University Hospital regret that patients will face significant delays, and ask everyone to help our staff at this time by considering other options for non-emergency care, such as Roscommon Injury Unit, out-of-hours GP and pharmacies before attending the ET. So I'm sure Roscommon Injury Unit, out-of-hours GPs and pharmacies are going, well, thanks for that one. So your response to that response from CELTA?
Where were we going to get a CAT scan on a Friday night at 10 o'clock?
Yeah.
Which was essential, you know. We were really concerned about her head, her eye. And what's shocking, Alan, is we were delighted when she was moved from the back door to the other end of the hall.
Yeah.
It was like the penthouse suite down the other end of the hall. It's crazy.
That's shocking.
Crazy.